brace yourself. Your next trip to the grocery store could leave you in total shock. Prices on everyday essentials are about to skyrocket, and most shoppers have no idea what's coming. With new tariffs looming, the cost of meat, produce, and even pantry staples is set to surge overnight. And if you're not prepared, you could end up paying way more than you should. Welcome back, the place where smart consumers get the inside scoop on how to save money and stay ahead of rising costs. Today, we're tackling a major issue that's about to hit grocery stores across the country, tariffs and their impact on your food budget. Experts warn that price hikes are coming fast, and some of your favorite grocery items could become shockingly expensive. But don't worry, we've done the research for you. In this video, we're breaking down the 8 essential groceries you need to stock up on right now before prices go through the roof. If you're serious about staying ahead of these price hikes, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our expert shopping tips. Let's dive in. 1. Meat products. Picture this. You're standing in the meat aisle, eyeing your usual pack of chicken or steak, only to realize the price has doubled since your last grocery run. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, experts warn that it could soon be a reality. With the U.S. heavily reliant on imported meat from Canada and Mexico, upcoming tariffs could send beef, pork, and poultry prices soaring. Canada alone supplies billions of dollars worth of meat to the U.S. every year, and with higher import costs, that premium is going straight to your grocery bill. Even domestic meat producers are affected. Rising feed prices and supply chain disruptions mean higher costs across the board. And here's the real kicker. Many shoppers don't realize that meat prices fluctuate seasonally even without tariffs. When you throw trade restrictions into the mix, the impact is even more unpredictable. Beef and pork could see price increases of 20% or more, while poultry, often considered the more affordable protein, won't be immune either. So what does this mean for your next grocery run? If you eat meat regularly, it's time to think ahead. Freezing bulk purchases is a smart way to lock in current prices before they climb. Ground meats, which tend to be more affordable than premium cuts, can be stored for months without losing quality. Even vacuum-sealed steaks can last up to a year in the freezer, making it easier to enjoy your favorite meals without breaking the bank. But here's a little-known fact. Restaurants and fast food chains often feel the effects of meat price hikes before grocery stores do. This means your favorite burger joint or BBQ spot may start raising prices sooner than you expect. If you're a fan of dining out, brace yourself for higher menu prices in the coming months. 2. Seafood. Imagine craving a nice salmon fillet for dinner, only to find it costs as much as a steak. Sounds ridiculous? It's about to happen. Seafood is one of the most vulnerable grocery categories when it comes to tariffs. The U.S. imports a massive percentage of its seafood from countries like Canada and Mexico, and with new trade restrictions looming, prices on everything from shrimp to tuna are expected to skyrocket. Experts warn that seafood prices could increase by 25% or more, making what was once an affordable protein source a luxury item for many households. But here's something even more surprising. Most of the seafood you buy, even if it's labeled as wild caught or American, is still affected by global pricing. Many U.S. seafood companies export their catch overseas for processing before it's sent back for sale, meaning any disruptions in trade can still jack up the price. So even that wild Alaskan salmon you love, it's not immune to the price hike. Shellfish lovers, brace yourselves. Tariffs on Canadian imports could make lobster, scallops, and even mussels significantly more expensive. If you enjoy sushi, be prepared for higher prices at your favorite restaurants, as many of the ingredients, like eel, crab, and even some varieties of shrimp, are imported and will be hit hard by tariff-related cost increases. And here's the worst part. Unlike meat, seafood is harder to stockpile. While frozen fish is a great alternative, many types of seafood lose texture and flavor if stored for too long. That means if you're a regular seafood eater, you'll need to get strategic. Buying in bulk from wholesalers, opting for more sustainable and locally sourced options, and even exploring plant-based seafood alternatives might be the only way to keep enjoying your favorite dishes without breaking. And don't forget about cheese. Cheddar, mozzarella, and even specialty cheeses like Gouda and Brie could see major price spikes. With increased costs on imported dairy, the price of your favorite pizza, grilled cheese sandwich, or mac and cheese might soon make you think twice before indulging. Even processed dairy products like cream cheese, sour cream, and ice cream could see unexpected price jumps. But here's something few people realize. Dairy shortages could become a reality. When production costs rise, smaller farms may struggle to stay in business, reducing overall dairy supply. This could lead to temporary shortages and unpredictable price surges, making it even harder to budget for dairy staples. So, what can you do? Consider buying and freezing butter and cheese while prices are still reasonable. Butter lasts for months in the freezer, and hard cheeses like cheddar and parmesan can be stored for long periods. If you're a milk drinker, switching to shelf-stable options like powdered or UHT milk could help you avoid sudden price spikes. 6. Itoachi cooking oils. Think about how often you use cooking oil, whether it's olive oil for salads, vegetable oil for frying, or butter substitutes for baking. Now, imagine these essentials becoming twice as expensive in just a few months. It's happening faster than most people realize. Cooking oils are heavily impacted by tariffs because the U.S. relies on imports of canola oil from Canada, palm oil from Southeast Asia, and even olive oil from Europe. Any disruption in trade sends these prices spiraling upward. In fact, global supply chain issues have already made cooking oils more expensive, and tariffs will only make things worse. But here's the real shocker. Cooking oils are used in thousands of grocery products you wouldn't expect. Everything from potato chips to salad dressings, baked goods, and even peanut butter contains oils that are subject to price hikes. That means you're not just paying more for a bottle of oil, you're also paying more for anything that contains it. And if you think switching to alternatives like coconut oil or avocado oil will save you, think again. These specialty oils are also experiencing price hikes due to increased demand and global shortages. Even plant-based dairy alternatives like almond and oat milk are affected because they require large amounts of oil in processing. So, what's the best strategy? Stock up now on your go-to cooking oils and store them properly. Most oils have a long shelf life if kept in a cool, dark place, and bulk purchases could save you hundreds of dollars in the long run. If you cook often, consider experimenting with oil-free cooking methods like air frying or baking to cut down on usage. With tariffs tightening supply chains, a simple bottle of oil could soon become one of the most expensive items in your kitchen. 7. Coffee. Imagine dragging yourself out of bed, desperate for your morning coffee, only to realize that the price of your favorite brew has doubled. Sounds like a bad dream? It's about to become reality. Coffee is one of the most tariff-sensitive products on the market because the U.S. imports over 90% of its coffee beans from countries like Brazil, Colombia, and Vietnam. Any disruption in trade means that prices at your local grocery store or your favorite coffee shop will shoot up fast. But here's something most people don't realize. It's not just imported coffee that's affected. Even US-based coffee brands rely on international beans. That means whether you buy whole beans, ground coffee, instant coffee, or even coffee pods, you're going to feel the pinch. If you love flavored or specialty coffee blends, brace yourself. Those will be hit the hardest as many of the ingredients come from multiple tariff-affected regions. And don't think that switching to your local cafe will save you. Major coffee chains like Starbucks and Dunkin' are already preparing for price increases. Even budget-friendly fast food coffee could see price hikes as supply chains struggle to keep up. So what's the solution? Stock up on coffee beans, ground coffee, or even instant coffee while prices are still manageable. If you have the freezer space, storing whole beans in an airtight container can extend their freshness for months. Switching to alternative caffeine sources like tea might also help balance your budget if coffee prices continue to climb. One thing's for sure. If you're a daily coffee drinker, these tariffs are about to make your morning ritual a lot more expensive. 8. Canned goods. Canned goods are often considered budget-friendly pantry staples, but don't be fooled. They won't stay cheap for long. The reason? Tariffs don't just affect the food inside the cans. They also impact the cost of the metal used to make them. With rising tariffs on aluminum and steel imports, manufacturers are warning that the price of canned goods, like soup, beans, vegetables, and even pet food, will see a sharp increase. 3. Fresh produce. What if your morning avocado toast suddenly became a luxury? It might happen sooner than you think. Fresh produce is one of the first grocery categories to feel the impact of tariffs, especially when it comes to fruits and vegetables imported from Mexico. The U.S. relies on Mexico for a massive portion of its fresh produce. Nearly 80% of all avocados, 70% of tomatoes, and a large share of bell peppers, cucumbers, and berries come from across the border. With new tariffs on the horizon, industry analysts predict that prices on these everyday staples could double or even triple in some cases, and the problem doesn't stop there. Price increases on imported produce create a ripple effect throughout the grocery store. When avocados become too expensive, demand shifts to alternatives like bananas and apples, driving those prices up as well. It's a chain reaction that most consumers don't see coming until it's too late. Here's something even more alarming. Seasonal availability is no longer a guarantee. Many fruits and vegetables that were once available year-round thanks to global imports might start disappearing from shelves during certain months. That means your favorite winter blueberries or off-season strawberries could become harder to find or way too expensive to justify buying. So what can you do? First, consider frozen alternatives. Frozen fruits and vegetables retain most of their nutrients and can be stored for months without spoiling. Next, if you have the space, starting a small home garden could be a game changer. Even something as simple as growing herbs, lettuce, or tomatoes at home can help offset the rising cost of fresh produce. And finally, buy in bulk when prices are still reasonable. Many grocery stores offer discounts on bulk produce purchases. Just freeze or preserve what you can to stretch your savings even further. With tariffs threatening to make fresh produce a costly indulgence, now is the time to get proactive about how you shop, store, and consume your favorite fruits and veggies. 4. Cereal, grains, and byproducts, realizing that your go-to breakfast staple is now twice as expensive as it was last month. Sounds outrageous? It's already happening. Cereal grains, including wheat, barley, and oats, are some of the most affected products when tariffs hit. The U.S. heavily depends on Canada for these essential grains, and with new trade restrictions, prices are expected to spike across the board. That means everything from your favorite morning cereal to oatmeal flour, pasta, and even beer could see significant price increases. If you thought inflation was bad before, just wait until tariffs push grain-based food prices through the roof. But here's something most shoppers don't realize. Grain price hikes don't just affect packaged products, they impact the entire food supply chain. When wheat and corn become more expensive, livestock feed costs also rise. This in turn makes meat, dairy, and even eggs more expensive, since farmers have to pay more to feed their animals. In short, a spike in cereal grains doesn't just mean pricier bread and pasta. It's a domino effect that could drive up the cost of entire grocery categories. And don't think you can escape the price hikes by switching to alternative grains. Products like quinoa, rice, and specialty flours aren't immune either. Many of these staples are imported from South America and Asia, and global trade disruptions are already pushing their prices higher. Even gluten-free eaters won't be spared, as alternative flours like almond, coconut, and chickpea flour are also becoming more expensive due to rising global demand. If cereal, bread, and pasta are staples in your diet, now is the time to stock up. Buying bulk oats, flour, and grains while prices are still reasonable could help stretch your grocery budget in the months ahead. Consider storing dry goods in airtight containers to extend their shelf life and keep your pantry stocked before these everyday essentials become a financial burden. 5. Dairy products. What if a gallon of milk suddenly costs as much as a fancy coffee from your favorite cafe? It sounds absurd, but dairy prices are on track to surge, and soon. Dairy products, including milk, cheese, butter, and yogurt, are among the most vulnerable grocery items when tariffs hit. The U.S. imports a significant amount of dairy from Canada and Mexico, and trade restrictions could send prices soaring. But here's where it gets worse. Even domestically produced dairy is affected because tariffs drive up the cost of grain, which increases feed prices for dairy cows. In other words, when farmers pay more to feed their livestock, the extra cost gets passed straight to consumers. But that's not all. Many canned foods rely on imported ingredients, from tomato paste for pasta sauces to tuna sourced from overseas fisheries. Even American brands that produce their goods domestically are facing higher transportation and production costs, which means those price hikes will inevitably hit consumers. Here's something most people don't think about. Canned beverages are also affected. That means your favorite soft drinks, sparkling waters, and even beer could see a significant jump in price. If you regularly stock up on canned sodas or energy drinks, expect to pay more in the coming months. So, how do you stay ahead of the curve? Now is the time to stock up on canned essentials like beans, vegetables, and soups before they become an unexpected budget strain. Many canned goods have a shelf life of several years, making them one of the easiest and most practical grocery items to buy in bulk before prices skyrocket. When tariffs hit hard, even the most basic pantry staples won't be spared. Don't wait until it's too late. Stock up before it's too late. If you've been paying attention, one thing is crystal clear. Grocery prices are about to take a serious hit. From meat and dairy to coffee and canned goods, no aisle in the supermarket is safe from rising costs due to tariffs. And while many shoppers won't realize it until their receipts start looking outrageous, you now have the knowledge to stay ahead of the game. The key to beating these price hikes? Act now. Stock up on essentials before the shelves reflect the new costs. Invest in long-lasting items like frozen meats, shelf-stable dairy, bulk grains, and canned goods while they're still affordable. And if you rely on daily must-haves like coffee, cooking oil, or fresh produce, consider smart alternatives such as freezing, preserving, or switching to budget-friendly options. Tariffs and supply chain disruptions aren't going away anytime soon, which means prices will only climb higher from here. The best way to protect your wallet is to plan ahead, shop smart, and stay informed. Now, we want to hear from you. Which grocery item are you most worried about becoming too expensive? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on how to save money and stay ahead of economic changes. Until next time, shop smart, stay prepared.